So I'm trying to find some kind of silver lining because, again, sometimes there are great buy low spots for teams who are absolutely terrible the year before. So the one positive is BetMGM has their win total at 67.5. This is still a god-awful season. Even if you win 68 games, it's a terrible season. And maybe the fact that the Reds are in the same division with the Pirates here gives them, some kind of wins. But still, I don't think there's a play here for me for the Pirates. But maybe you take a look at the over because 62-100 is almost impressively bad.
It really is. Do you ever look at these totals and say, look, this team just has to, just by virtue of the fact that it's hard to lose 100 baseball games in a season. And I would never expect you, and I know you never would just blind bet something. But at one point, do you see some of these totals and say, maybe I should take a hard look at the over because don't they just have to win a few more games? It's hard. And especially losing, close to 100 games or 100 games in back-to-back seasons.
Well, and especially for these teams who have been bad for quite some time because one would think that their prospects are at least good. At least that's the consensus because, you trade away your big stars, you get some good prospects. So eventually the young guys will come up and you will have at least some talent on your team. Granted, that's not everything. And like I said, I think a lot of it needs to be pitchers. And the Pirates have some really good young talent for their position players. But still, you've got to have some semblance of pitching. I'll say this about Rich Hill. Yeah, he's old, but he's never been a guy that blows it past you. He is a crafty veteran that thrives with off-speed pitches. So I don't think his age is that much of a factor. It's just, he got knocked around a lot last year. So maybe there is, 68 wins there for the Pirates. But like I said, would you take a look at the under? I think that's the other question because it's already so low. It makes me not want to take the under.
Yeah, I know. The only team I'm going to hammer the under on is the Oakland A's because I just think they're going to be as bad as you think they're going to be. And we'll get to Oakland. So if you're dying to hear that A's analysis, we will get to that in the next month and a half because we are previewing every single team in the Daily Tip from BetQL presented by BetMGM. But yeah, I would say the under is probably the right side with the total set so low. I don't feel comfortable betting it. If you're trying to be positive when talking about the Pirates or looking ahead, they do have a couple of young guys who we might see this season. Indy Rodriguez, a catcher, hit 323, 25 home runs in 2022 over 3 different minor league stops. Ended up in AAA, and he's a much better hitter than defensive player. But they also have another catcher who was the number 1 overall pick in the 2021 draft. That's Henry Davis. He hit 264 with 10 home runs, but topped out in AA in 2022. So maybe there's a possibility we see both of those guys, one of those guys, probably Rodriguez first at catcher. Then they could move him based on where they want Henry Davis to play, which is probably at catcher, and Rodriguez has more things that he can do in the field. But ultimately, there's not a whole lot in the pipeline. I think if you're the Pirates, you come out, you say, let's enjoy the stadium, and at least we have Andrew McCutchen and his history there. Always going to be a fan favorite, has done some wonderful things. It's just that he's 36 now.
Well, and also I think this gives a chance for your young prospects to have some free reign in the majors because when you are not playing for the playoffs or anything, who cares if this guy is striking out a ton? Let him get his reps because that's the only way he's going to get better. So I think that is something to build on, that maybe these young prospects will at least get their time in the majors and they'll get to actually develop. When talking about some of these win totals, it's not super promising because the Pirates have had back-to-back seasons of 61 and 62 wins. Before that, it was the shortened season, so not much to delve from that there. But the last time they had 62 wins, they followed it up with a season of 57 wins, even fewer in 2010. So I'm not seeing anything I want to bet on here.